How's it going there, everyone? I just want to welcome you to my YouTube page here called Coffee and Steel. This page is about my bar, which is also a forge, and a cafe. Also, that would be the coffee part. So on this page, I want to cover topics that include, well, those two things, coffee and other things that I make here, and steel, or I guess bladesmithing. So today what I want to show you guys is my espresso machine, which I've currently disassembled. I thought to take this video kind of halfway through disassembling it, so you're going to see where it's at now. I mean, most coffee machines, like I guess commercial coffee machines, operate pretty similarly. And I've always been very apprehensive about doing my own maintenance on this machine because it's old and Italian. And well, the technology that they use in these things is also pretty old. It's all like steam powered, and to that end, I know little to nothing. But what I've come to understand recently, I have to repair this machine almost every single year, and I live in Japan, and I only know of one independent technician that works on this stuff. I'm in Kobe and he's all the way in Tokyo, so I always wind up having to ship this thing up to Tokyo, which that alone costs all kinds of money because it weighs about 100 pounds, and then have to get it shipped back and pay for that as well. And I pay this technician usually once a year, but hundreds of dollars. It's always about like $300 to $500 to have this thing repaired. I've paid as much as like $800, I think, to repair it. But 9 times out of 10, what I've realized is that it's a pump, and the pumps are all electronic, actually not completely true. Sorry. There's 2 types of pumps in a commercial espresso machine, and probably even your home machines as well. One is it's called like a vibrating pump, I think, and it's a small electronic pump, and there is a mechanical rotary pump. And it is completely mechanical, but it is driven by a very large motor, usually in the back of your machine. Sorry, I just got cut off there. Anyway, so there's a rotary pump in the back of the machine. I had that replaced last year. I think it cost me about like $450 or something like that. And hopefully I won't have to replace that again for a while. The old one had seized up, and it was old. It was the original pump in the machine. And I can show you that guy. It's right there. And again, like, this is pretty simple mechanics here, actually, putting this thing on. You just gotta, unbolt everything and pull it off. That's not what I'm dealing with today. So I'll show you up here, and this is, your big motor. This is your, I guess your boiler, compressor. And this guy right in front of here, this is the other type of pump you're gonna find in these machines. And it's a small electronic pump. And to disconnect it, you just disconnect these. And there's a bolt holding on here. I'm not gonna mess with this one today because it's not the one that is my problem pump. What I'm having a problem with right now is pulling espresso from the machine. So my group head, which needs to be cleaned. This is the pump right here, and I've already pulled off. This one has a drain on it because it pushes back, I guess, the unused water, which drains out in the bottom here. And it also turns the pump that has the water going from the steamer into this group head, and you can follow this pipe here, and that's so it comes into here, and here's the group head. And I guess there's also water that goes out here, or maybe it comes out of here through both parts. I'm not really sure exactly which direction the water goes in here, but I do know that this pump right here is the pump that turns that, or I guess operates the group head, and it's just a little motor. So yeah, I've detached the electronics. What I'm gonna do is unbolt it here and pull it out and have a look at the model, and I'm gonna go online and look up this model, and I'm going to buy another one. So yeah, this is a little tube back here that connects to the bottom of it. It's got like a ring clamp that just kind of rolled down the bottom here. So anyway, I'm gonna get this guy off and I guess have a look at it and order another one. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Giles back here from Coffee and Steel. So I'm back here with this machine, and I've learned a few things. about that part that I was talking about that I actually thought was a pump. It's not a pump. It is in fact a valve. It's called a solenoid valve, and a solenoid valve, it basically does the same thing. I mean, it doesn't pump for anything, but you know what a valve does? It opens and closes and allows fluid or gas or something to pass through. Well, usually fluid or gas, I would assume. In this case, fluid, because it's hot water from my espresso machine. So I took it off, and it's a solenoid valve. This is right here is a solenoid, and they're really fucking hard to find. But I did find one. Actually, I found them on eBay. Is the last place I looked, and they're not hard to find on eBay, and they're very cheap. They're like 5,000 yen, so like $50. Anyway, so with that, I took that off, and I pulled it apart, and I learned about it, and now I'm putting it back together today. And then as I was putting it together, I was looking at my group head, and I've had problems with my group head before, and I looked at it, and I was like, my group head is filthy. Here, I'll show you, just give me a sec. So this is my group head. It's sitting in a descaler in hot water right now. And I'm gonna clean that out, and then I'm gonna put everything back together, and we'll pull some espresso off it. And yeah, this is my machine all fucking pulled apart again. I put it back together and pulled it apart. This is the valve right here. So inside this valve here, inside this guy, is basically a hammer. They call it a plunger, I guess, but it's like a piston. And the solenoid that wraps around it is an electromagnet. And when it's on, it pulls this piston down. And this is a 3-way solenoid valve, so it pulls water out the bottom, and it pulls water into the group head from the boiler here. So this is already pressurized, but if this thing is not going up and down, if it's not releasing properly, or if something's blocking it, then it's going to affect your pressure. So I'm still pretty sure that's what it is. And like again, everything you see coming from here, they all have this same valve connected to them that I thought was a pump. This guy over here is a rotary pump. That is in fact a pump. So anyway, any espresso people know more about this than me. Sorry, I'm learning as I go here. But anyway, so I'm going to put this guy back together, and then yeah, I'm going to try and pour some coffee, and I'll get back with you with that. Cheers, guys. Yo, what's going on, everybody? So I'm back here at the shop, and I've got my espresso machine all put back together now. And I actually did a test shot. I pulled one shot already, and it went through. So I did something right. I'm pretty sure that the problem was not the solenoid valve. I think that's working just fine. I think it was my group head was just too gunged up. So that was a lot of unnecessary work if it was just in fact my group head. Although I guess I learned a lot and well know now that I can replace those if I want to, and I know where to find them, and that's great. So I've pulled a shot already, and it seems to be okay. I probably will have to buy a new group head. I don't think I can clean that thing thoroughly enough. I mean, that coffee, like the amount of pressure and heat that builds up in that group head is well, it's a lot of pressure and heat. So like the leftover grinds, they get gunged up in there if you don't clean it regularly enough. And I'm pretty, maybe it's not enough, I don't really know for sure, but I descale my machine probably about once a month. Anytime I notice any kind of weird problem with it, I run the descaling through it. So the other thing to consider there is my grind is something that I had to deal with a couple of weeks ago, because I found it was pouring weird shots. Like, it was pouring shots, but like the crema was not very good, and the flavor was like just too bitter. And so I adjusted my grind, and I got it quite a bit finer than what I had it at before, and it started pulling really perfect shots for a while. But I think the age of that group head that I got in there, or just the fact that like you need to pull it out and properly clean it, and not just run descaling through it. So I think the grind is just too fine, and it kind of filled in the last few spots that are in there. So for the time being, I guess I'm okay, but I'm gonna have to buy a new group head, it looks like to me. But anyway, yeah, it's a bit of a wild goose chase, I suppose, but I think that's what you gotta go through to figure this stuff out sometimes. And now I know. Solenoid valves, guys, if you have a commercial coffee machine. Those things, if it is not your group head, like I said before, like the machine was pressurizing just fine, lots of steam coming out, lots of hot water coming out, but my group head seemed to be, well, it's still like producing hot water and it's pushing it through, but it was not pulling shots. So I mean, I did take apart that valve, and maybe there was something caught in there that I managed to clean out, and that's helped out a lot. Maybe, I don't know for sure. But yeah, for sure, keeping your group head nice and clean. If you do manage to find out there's a problem with your valves, I guess a surefire way to know that is that if your machine is not, well, the pressure is probably one thing, but if it's not pressurizing properly, it's not probably getting water in properly, because it needs to have a certain amount of water in the tank in order for it to pressurize optimally. If there's no hot water coming out of your hot water head, if there's no steam coming out, those are good things to check, I'm pretty sure. I mean, if there's no water coming out of your group head at all, or coming out of your hot water tap on your machine, yeah, I think you're pretty much guaranteed that you've got a problem with one of your solenoid valves, and you can take it apart and clean it. It's not really that difficult. Make sure you turn off the water going into your machine. My machine is hooked up to our plumbing here. Unplug the machine. You don't want to be messing with that stuff. You know, like decompress. There's no pressure in there, and yeah, and not hot when you go to work on it. Because, like, honestly, if you like slip and hit something, there's a lot of like hot water running through that thing, and I think that stuff is relatively easy to puncture. And if you manage to puncture your boiler or something, or your compressor, I'm not sure if they're one and the same thing, but that big brass thing inside there that you know where all your heat and pressure is coming from, I think you're in a lot of trouble. You could probably melt your face pretty good. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if that was helpful to any of you. It was helpful to me. I certainly learned a lot. I'm gonna pour a shot here and videotape it. Cheers, you guys. Being all put back together. My pressure seems okay. That's my hot water. That's my group head, and that seems to be about normal. It should usually produce more water. Like I said, it still needs, I still need to replace that, I think. Lots of steam, lots of power coming out from that steam, so I'm gonna pull a shot. All right, so I got this all set up here. I'm gonna pull a shot. I got a feeling it's gonna come out a little bit faster than I'd like it to, because my grind, like, I made it a little bit thicker. I think being too fine as it was giving the group head more problems, because it's still a little bit clogged. But anyway, here we go. And yeah, like I said, that's coming out way too fast, but at least I know that's working. So in case you don't know, you should probably take no more than 20 seconds to pull a 30 milliliter shot off a machine like this. And obviously, like, that came out in like 3 seconds. I can tell by looking at it, the crema is not great, and that it's probably gonna taste pretty crappy. But it is pulling shots, and that's what I needed to do. So right now it's about getting my grind adjusted again, and yeah, probably replacing the mesh on that group head. And yeah, that's it. The machine is working, so that's great. Anyway, thanks for watching until the end of this. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. I just put a video up of one of the knives that I've been working on for the knife end of Coffee and Steel, and yeah, give that a look too. I hope this helps some of you if you want to see more stuff like this. And yeah, leave a comment in the comment section down there, and yeah, let me know. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.